Now, China has announced sanctions on 5 American defense manufacturers.
Well, this is in response to the United States arms sales to Taiwan. Now, US imposing sanctions on Chinese companies and individuals. The latest sanctions will freeze any property that the companies have in China and further prohibits organizations and individuals in China from doing businesses with them. Listen to this.
The measures include freezing movable and immovable property and other types of property of mentioned enterprises. It also includes prohibiting organizations and individuals in China from engaging in transactions, cooperation and other activities with them.
Now, the companies that will be sanctioned are BAE Systems Land and Armament, Alliant Tech Systems Operations, Aero Environment, Visat and Data Link Solutions.
Now, the US Department last month had approved sale of $300 million in equipment to help maintain Taiwan's tactical information systems. The Chinese Foreign Ministry says that the US moves harmed China's sovereignty and security interest, further undermining peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait.
China regards Taiwan, a self-governing island off its east coast, as a breakaway province that must come under Beijing's control at some point in the future. The sanctions on US companies also come ahead of Taiwan's January 13th presidential and parliamentary elections and comes a day after Taiwan's defense ministry accused China of threatening aviation safety and Beijing's psychological warfare on the island's people with the recent spate of balloons spotted near the island. Now, for more on this, we're now being joined by Bill Gallo, our VOA correspondent. He joins us live from Taipei, Taiwan. Thank you so much for joining us, Bill.
Thank you for having me.
Bill, the announcement comes with just a week ahead of the Taiwan polls. How do you see this panning out on the ground?
Well, obviously, the United States is Taiwan's major weapons supplier, and Taiwan very much needs those weapons, right? Its military is very small and certainly much smaller than China's vast military. However, there is always sort of a question, and particularly lately, a question about what exactly the United States would do if China were to ever invade. President Joe Biden has said, of course, that the U.S. would defend Taiwan. However, really, it's U.S. policy to be quite ambiguous on the matter. And so this always plays a big role in Taiwan's politics. The opposition KMT, which is trying to retake power, plays this as, well, hey, look, we can't rely on the United States, therefore elect us, and we'll get closer with China. The DPP, which is the ruling party, of course, favors the current approach, which is much more sort of a militaristic, tougher approach to China.
Bill, now, with the lead up to the elections, at least 19 balloons have been reported sent across the line of median by China. And this, of course, talking about Taiwan. Is this having any impact on the run-up to the elections?
Well, this is a complicated issue. I mean, I want to say two things to make sure I'm clear here. Taiwanese people care about this. They do. They're following. They're watching. But the second thing is they're not that concerned. This has happened for a long time. People in Taiwan have dealt with these kinds of threats for decades. I think how China impacts elections here is on much more of a deeper level. It's sort of an identity issue, right? Do you feel Taiwanese or do you feel Chinese? And honestly, a majority of people feel Taiwanese, and a vast majority of people want to preserve the status quo with China, which is to say, not quite independence, but almost sort of quasi-independence, right? Because certainly most people would oppose unification with China. And now sort of this plays out in the election in many ways, but whoever sort of wins this debate, sort of this war and peace narrative, is very likely sort of to win this presidential and general election coming up on Saturday.
All right, Bill, thank you so much for joining in and sharing all your insights on this. We will be in touch as we lead up to the elections. There's lots more that's going to happen soon enough.
Thank you.